Hi, everybody. Welcome to the QB Vodcast 2.0, episode 2. Fired up. This will be good. Get into some more comments. Do a little deep dive here and a little red zone QB stuff. So this should be exciting. Got some books out so people believe that they're real behind me. So we'll get into all of it. Welcome to the QB School. All right, first question. Get into it. What changes in a QB's approach inside versus outside the red zone? Dean, appreciate it. It's a good one. Yeah, things do change, especially in the league. Windows get tighter, essentially, is the best way to think of it. So sometimes in the field, you have a little bit more space. You can stretch the field vertically, where now everything is condensed. And we always used to say in the quarterback room that the best reps of the week for practice were red zone reps because it's the most game-like because things happen fast, tight windows, anticipate tight space. So everything's just more difficult. And there were a few teams that I was at actually that used to have the saying touchdown or check down, meaning that we're going to take a shot. If it's not there, get it down to your check down, the running back or tight end, someone coming out of the backfield. And it's really just a philosophical approach. I don't think there's one great way to attack it. I think that having multiple options, layers, but there's definitely an idea of let's take a shot, touchdown, it's there, yes, take it. If not, check it down, live to fight another day. So I think there's all sorts of different ways to do it. I think most teams and most coaches would probably just want to run it in when you get into the red zone, but you can't always do that. So you got to find creative ways to do it. And I like the touchdown to check down mentality. I used to say that the red zone starts once you cross the 50. It's usually that alumni zone is what most people call it, especially in college, anywhere from the 50 to like the 30. That's where you're going to call, I've heard people call it the green zone before, because if you score from there, you're going to get paid. But alumni zone, you take shots from there. You're going to make the alumni happy. It's fun to watch. It's exciting football. You get into the 30 to the 20, high red zone, still take some shots. You get into the red zone at the 20, now things get tight. And you get into the tight red zone, and things get really tight. That's why you see a lot of fades, you see a lot of corners, because you get a little bit more space out there on the perimeter. Then you get into the goal line. That's where you get those jumbo packages and things get really tight, and you're going to run the rock. Otherwise, you're going to play action and try to hit a corner or a little seam or a little flare flat thing. So yeah, things change a lot. Those are really, really crucial downs. Also, that's where you win and lose games. The difference between 3 points and 4 points, obviously, but that's really where quarterbacks make their money. You're going to throw touchdown passes. You're going to hand it off, kick field goals. It's winning football versus losing football in the NFL. All right, that's a good one. On to the next. So, NorCal 225. You got all sorts of questions, bro. I appreciate that. Do you think it's helpful for high school and college quarterbacks to practice with no laces balls, especially with the RPOs run all the time where they need to get the ball out quickly? It will make it easier for them not to worry about laces. Actually, now that I think about it, maybe it's better to have a ball with laces, but learn how to turn the laces into your fingers. Thoughts? ? Yeah, definitely have thoughts. The thought is, and this is how I got to the second half of my career, I just warmed up without the laces. That's how I teach young quarterbacks how to play now. You just warm up without the laces. Then in the RPO game, you're used to throwing without the laces. It's not a huge deal, especially when you're just getting it out of your hand quickly and they're dart throws. You don't really need the laces. You need the laces on touch throws, anything where you need to feather it down the field or you need to get maximum velocity on it. So absolutely, yes, people throw without the laces. Yes, RPO, you have to be able to throw without the laces. So what does that mean? You got to practice it. I remember being with the Patriots on the practice squad. Tom Brady was the first guy I saw practice taking those quick snaps and throwing it down the sideline as fast as he can to those quick wide receiver screens. And he was all no laces. It was all about combining not only no laces, but also simulating the snap. So you got to snap it to yourself, whether it's in the shotgun, you throw it up, or under center, you're taking snaps all the time, because it's a difference between just playing catch, warming up with nobody around you, taking a snap and getting it out of your hands as fast as you can without the laces. So that's a great point. Yes, absolutely. You got to practice throwing without the laces if you want to play quarterback nowadays. Great question. Next, Iceberg Slim Yuppie. It's a strong name. Pack logo there. Can you do a video on reading coverages from a QB's perspective, please? I appreciate the please. Yeah, I could. It would be a really long video. Instead, I'm going to pump you over to the website for the QB School right now. Look at this thing. It's been up for about a year. Really excited about this. And look at this. Oh my goodness. There is a guide. Send me a guide. Learn to watch film like a pro. What? And what happens? If you sign up, put your email in there. I'll send you how you actually watch film. I think there's a lot that goes into watching video, learning how to watch coverages, and really, I'll just give you the briefest synopsis possible. Safeties, 1 high, 2 high. Middle field open, 2 safeties. Middle field closed, 1 safety. From there, it's man or zone. The corners bump, the corner's off, the corner's looking at the wide receivers, the corner's looking at the quarterback. Okay, corner's looking at the quarterback, zone usually. Corner's looking at the wide receivers, man. You can tell the same thing from the linebackers. Are they looking at the quarterback, the ball, their keys, or are they looking at the man? Okay, and then from there, you look at the front. At the higher levels you get, you want to get into the front identification. And really all I look for as a front identification is it an odd front, meaning is there a nose tackle and the guards are uncovered? Or is it an even front where the guards, and or a center are covered with defensive tackles? And then so it's odd, even, or covered up. All 3 of them are covered up, a core, a bare front. And really, that's it. You want to keep it as simple as possible. That's how we teach it. That's how I learned it. It makes the most amount of sense to me, and it allows you to play fast. So what's the shell? Middle field open, middle field closed. 1 safety, 2 safety. Man or zone? What's the front? Core. Odd, even, bare. That's a wrap. So let me know what you think about the document. Back to NorCal 225. Came with a bunch of hot ones, so I gave him 2 right here. I have a few requests for topics. Yeah, we got you. First up, when a player has an option, choice route, I'm assuming they are keen off 1 defender. You assume wrong, NorCal. Why are so many mix-ups between the wide receiver and QB? Well, because you assume wrong. They're not just looking at 1 guy. Oftentimes, they're looking at the safety rotation. They're looking at the 2 near defenders. They're looking, is it man or zone? They're trying to get a key on what's going on. It's more than just 1 guy. Oftentimes, Mike McCarthy used to say, when I was in New Orleans with him as the OC, he would say, as a wide receiver, if you can count to 3, you can play for me. So it's 1, 2, 3. The near 3 defenders, what are they doing? That's what's going to tell me what to do. And so really it's that simple. I try not to make it more complicated than that. You definitely don't need to see the whole defense if you're running an option route, but you got to have an understanding of what's going on right in front of you, and then what's going on where you want to go. Your option routes. What are the options? Can you slant? Can you hook up? Can you run out? Can you run in? All of those things are going to be dictated by the near defender. So if you can count to 3, you can play for me. Next, second, can you do a description as to what happens every day of the week after the Sunday game? For example, Monday is walkthroughs of the new plays. Tuesday is learning the new plays. Love the format. Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. Normal NFL weeks. Okay, we're playing on Sunday, traveling half the time, coming back late. Monday is usually a workout film day. Sometimes you'll go out on the field, usually not. Just a workout. You come in, get your lift, get with team meeting, break down the film, get a head start on your next week's opponent. Tuesday is an off day for everybody. Usually the quarterbacks come in, watch a bunch of film. Depends on the organization, whether you do it together, whether you don't do it together. Oftentimes nowadays you can just do it on an iPad at home, but still quarterbacks like to be seen in the building doing that type of stuff, being seen by the staff, asking questions. If you want any sort of input on the game plan, you got to be there Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday is install day, normal down and distance. So you're going to get out there, usually get a lift in the morning, walk through in the morning, meetings in the morning. You're going to install all your normal down and distance stuff. So first and second down. Then from there, Thursday is usually third down day. So again, come in, maybe get a lift, walkthroughs, meetings in the morning. You're going to do third down sub personnel on Thursdays in the league. Friday is the short day, date night, whatever. You're going to come in and do red zone. It's usually a half day, kind of cut the walkthrough in the morning, get out of there around 1 or 2. Again, red zone emphasis, a little shorter practice, polished practice. Saturday, oftentimes you won't even go out on the field. You'll do a walkthrough, a run through, a mock game, whatever. Very simple meetings, clarify exactly what you're going to do. You're going to travel that day if you got to go somewhere, usually on a short trip. Sometimes you'll leave on a Friday if you're on a coast and you got to go to the other coast. Otherwise, Saturday, real simple day. Get in, get out. Usually have to be at the hotel in the evenings, more meetings. Then Sunday, depending on the organization you're at, what the maturity level is, you'll either meet in the mornings or just head over to the facility on whatever bus you want to. And then it's a wrap. We recycle, do it again. So you get in. Football's a culture of repetition. They want to know schedules, where you're supposed to be next. And I used to live in where am I going to be next mentality because I didn't want to be fined. All right, good question, NorCal. Keep them coming. Next, how about breaking down coach and QB interaction during the games and the difference of how other coaches coach QBs? That's a good one. I mean, you could do a mini series on this. I mean, I can tell you that every coach interaction that I had was a little bit different, and it really stems from just the type of relationship that you have with the coach, whether it's the head coach, the offensive coordinator, the whoever's calling the plays, whoever is your sounding board. Because sometimes every organization is different, right? If your head coach is the offensive coordinator, is also calling the plays, well, you might not have a whole lot of sideline interaction. If your head coach, if your offensive coordinator is calling the plays, but he's in the booth, well, then you're probably going to have the quarterback coach on the sideline with the interaction. And so what that sounding board like is different at every organization. My favorite was usually a combination of all of those things. I personally liked it when the offensive coordinator was on the field because you could have interaction and know what's kind of coming next. What can we expect? Are we on the same page? Where are our issues? What's going on the field, and have that kind of interaction. But again, I know a lot of coordinators like to be in the box, sealed off, locked in with their crazy play sheet, just dialing up plays. And then it's a much more quarterback coach specific kind of thing. And they're basically the liaison between, what does the coordinator want? What's coming up next? And then what can the quarterback do in that kind of interaction? So it's almost like a game of telephone, to be honest with you. So I try to just create a good relationship. I always want the best relationship possible with the entire quarterback room, but they're all different. They're all unique, right? Like every relationship, a little different. But you can tell the coaches that care about it and the players that are locked in, true pros, see if I can spout that out, are intentional with building those relationships so that when it gets crazy on Sundays, they know each other, they trust each other. There's a built up kind of idiosyncratic credit that they get because we know as a quarterback that my coordinator play caller is going to put us in the best situation to be successful. We've put in the work together during the week. We've executed during the week. Now we can go out there, have fun, and make it happen when it counts. So everyone's different. I think it'd be fascinating to see a study of what that looks like at every different organization. God, you could do it all the way into college football and see what the best interactions are. I personally, some of my best friends were my quarterback coaches. So it's a fun relationship. I think it's just like any good relationship built on trust, communication, respect, all the things that you would think go into a good relationship. So thanks for the question. Next. Oh, I love this one. 2 of them I put on there actually this time. Kenishi. I'm sure I'm not saying that correctly. I apologize. Man, this is dope. I don't like silly comments like that, but damn, I'm from Russia and your content has become most useful to me. You just saved me from a long search for information somewhere else. Thanks. I appreciate it. Love it. Watching it all over the world, man. That's a pretty cool element of this platform and what's going on with the digital space. Then Ricardo, hey JT, as a Brazilian living in France and trying to learn the game, I just wanted to show some love and appreciation for your content. It's incredibly instructive and entertaining, and your videos certainly helped me a lot and made me a big fan of the game. Cheers. I appreciate it. It's crazy humbling to see people all over the world watching this stuff. I just want it to grow, be meaningful to people, enjoyable, entertaining, and instructional, all those things. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching it. Spread the word. I appreciate it. All right, next up, Michael Connors. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but how many plays do NFL teams have on their play sheets each Sunday? He goes on to talk about 200, 100 from Paul Brown back in the day. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I know when I was with certain teams, they would try to carry about 150 pass plays. That was close. That was my McCarthy days, and then my Mike Martz days. It was closer to probably 200 passes per game. I really don't think of it as plays. I think of it more as passes. The run games are usually really simple. Might be a little bit more complicated now with the RPO stuff, but really it's just passes for a quarterback that you're most concerned about. I think it gets into a little bit more complicated when you get into how you're going to trick, smoke, screen people with different formations, motions, but it's a lot easier to play quarterback in the league because you just have the audio. They just spout it off in your ear, you regurgitate it, and you're good to go. And that's just when you're actually huddling. Most people nowadays, it's just simple signals, go from there on most levels of football. But I would say somewhere between 150, 200. I mean, anything more than that, you're looking at, in an NFL game, I would guess around 70 plays if you're lucky, rolling on offense. So, there's a point of diminishing returns as far as how many plays you carry. But I know play callers love to see that sheet, love to make it color coded and look really complicated, but it's just 11 people doing stuff that they've repped over and over and over and over again. And I think really when you get into it, that there are probably 30 or 40 plays, maybe not even that many, 25 plays that we got game plan specific that we must run this week because they're for this defense. And that's kind of where I go from there. And then the rest of them are just regurgitated every week, core principles of what the offense is about. And really, most teams have the same plays. And so how you spit it out, how you say it really doesn't matter. The integrity of how you read, a slant and a flat is the same no matter what team you play on, or 4 verticals like the logo. It's the same no matter what you play on. So everybody's going to have those, but you get to the point where it doesn't matter if it's 200, 250. We're going to run these top 25 plays. And then if we get into a little third down game, red zone game, we got our favorites and we go from there. So I wouldn't say it's overly complicated. I think it gets overhyped, and it certainly can be complicated if you don't have the capacity to handle it. But once you prove that you do have the capacity to handle it, your coaches kind of build around your strengths. I think it gets pretty simple pretty quick. Thanks. Good question. All right. Next one. Chuck 430. Are those books real or just a backdrop? Come on, bro. Yeah, they're real. It would be a cool backdrop though. But yes, so this is our library. My wife makes fun of me. I got a little nerd to me. And so instead of a man cave, I got a library. And so I love it in here. It's a good spot for me. It's a good representation of what I value. And just to kind of give you a little treat here. I don't know how much of a treat it is, but got a couple of my favorite ones here. Thinking Fast and Slow. This is I actually used this in my dissertation. I finished a doctorate a couple years ago, and this is part of the dissertation. Really, it's a great book. It's not an easy read, but it's not a difficult read either as far as dissertation PhD level. But the ideas of it were fascinating to me, and the essence of it is there's 2 ways to think. You think the really fast way, like what's 4 plus 4? What's 2 plus 2? And it just comes to you, as opposed to much more complex questions about like, how are we going to solve, really complicated issues that there isn't an easy answer to. And so little things like that come into this type of book. Then I throw out a couple football books just because I know that we got a bunch of football fans right here. Gridiron Genius, Mike Lombardi, talking about the Patriots. Love the organization, my favorite organization in sports. Then, even with all the haters, then Things That Make White People Uncomfortable, Michael Bennett. This is a great book, man. Make you think. I love Dave Zirin, the guy who wrote it with him. Touch everything that Dave Zirin tries to put out. Author, podcast, Edge of Sports too. Big fan of his. So yeah, they're real. Maybe I'll try to get a couple of my favorites every once in a while, just to make sure y'all know that I'm not fake the funk with this stuff. But yeah, I'm a big reader. I try to read as much as I can, and I enjoy it. It's good stuff. So that's it for episode number 2. Hopefully this weekend's games are just as good as first weekend's games. I'm excited to see what happens. All sorts of good football, good quarterback play. We're in a golden era of quarterback play, so just get more and more content. Crank it out. Let me know what you want to see, videos you want to see, quarterbacks you want to see broken down. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great one.